So Paint is a simple graphics painting program that has been included with all versions of Windows. The latest version that comes with Windows 7 has had quite a nice update. It's often referred to as MS Paint or Microsoft Paint. Let's have a look. So again, it's in the accessories folder, but the quickest way to get to it is just to type the word paint. And at the very top, you can see there it is. It's loaded up. As soon as it loads up, I have a blank white canvas here that I can resize according to whatever size I want to. If you want an idea of size at the very bottom as I resize, you can just see that number's just changing, just as you choose to resize the canvas. If you have a specific size that you want to achieve, if you click on the resize, what you can actually do is you can then actually choose what size it is. So for example, typical web page is about 1200 pixels wide. It does depend on your resolution, but that just gives you a good idea. If ever you want to have a picture for a website, as long as it's about 600 pixels, it normally does fit quite nicely. So there we go. So 600 by 400. We have a ribbon similar that we saw in WordPad, and we have two tabs in the ribbon. The Home tab has a number of sections. We have Clipboard for cutting and pasting. We have Image. We just used it to resize. We can rotate and to select images. Tools, these are what are you going to do? Are you going to draw with a pencil? Are you going to rub it out? Are you going to fill? Are you going to use the eraser, insert text? What type of brushes do you want? So when you do lines, how do you want them to look? Various pre-configured shapes, so nice and easy for smooth lines, for circles, ovals, stars. What's my line thickness I would like? And then ultimately, what colors do I want to use for my lines and my fill? Let's perhaps start off, let's do a pencil. So I'm going to do a pencil, and I'm just going to do a round circle. Look at that. And then I want to change the color, so I'm now going to do a red round circle. There we go. I'm actually going to now change it to more of a different size brush, slightly thicker. There we go. And I'm going to join the two circles. There we go. Having looked at that, I don't really like that too much, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of rub out parts of it. There we go. If I ever want to undo things far quicker and easier, at the very top, do you see there's a little undo button there? It undoes the last action. So if I press it once, it will undo the erasing. If I press it again, it will undo that line. If I want to actually bring that line back, I can then click on the redo. In the shapes, the pre-configured shapes, it allows me to perhaps draw, rather than I did it freehand before, I can actually draw a shape. It looks a nice cleaner line. While it has those dotted lines around it, I can still kind of adjust the shape, change its size, all done with a mouse and the left button. I could perhaps fill this shape now, perhaps with a solid color, and color 2 is what color the fill is, so perhaps I just move it back. There we go. So now if I select color 2, that's talking about the fill. And if I change it to orange, there we go. And there we go. So, and perhaps I now want to join them up again. And I'm going to use a nice curved line this time. There we go. And just drag it up to curve it. There we go. So that's an example of, I've just used the various different icons. It's very easy to do something with a blank canvas and just play around. I mean, you're not going to break Paint, and you can undo things, you can erase things, you can start again. And the best way to learn these sort of applications is just by giving it a go. Well, what we could do is, there we had a blank canvas. What I can do is I can improve an already existing picture. So let's do that. What I'm now going to do is I'm going to open an existing picture. When I click on this button here, I have the default apps main controls. So I can save it, open, print, send as an email. So let's open up a picture. So I've gone File, Open. I'm in my pictures. I'm just going to remove this preview pane. There we go. Let's have a look at the sample pictures that I got automatically with Windows. And look, there's a picture of a koala. Let's open that picture. It asks me, do I want to save this picture that I've been working on? And I don't want to. I'm going to throw it away. So by doing don't save, that's it. That's now gone away. So I'm going to work on the koala picture. I want to zoom out a bit. So on your mouse, if you've got a little roller wheel, what you can do is if you hold down Control, you can just wheel the mouse forward and back. And then that will kind of zoom in and out. But also you can use the zoom in and out down here. There we go. You can slide in and out. Okay. So easy to be able to kind of focus in on the area you want to actually make any changes to. And now on top of this picture, what I can do is I can do what I did before. I can draw on top of it and then save it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw some glasses. So I'm going to take some shapes. So I'm going to choose the circle shape. I don't want any fill, so I'm just going to change the fill to no fill. And I'm going to keep the outline as being that black color. And there we go. That's a nice kind of, there we go. But I want the line to be slightly thicker, so I'm going to come into the size here. I'm going to make it the thickest line. There we go. I like that. And now I'm going to draw another one. There we go. Oh, it's a little bit high up. There we go. So let's just drag it down a little bit. And if I move to one of the squares, I can resize it. There we go. And now I'm going to need to join it up. So I'm going to take this curved line. And with the curved line, what happens if you choose from point to point? So keep my finger on the mouse, release. There we go. And then I can now click in the middle and just raise it up. There we go. That's quite nice there. So there's the spectacles. I suppose he needs to have the actual arms of the spectacles to keep it on his head. So I'm going to just click and drag. There we go. I think the line's a little bit too thick there, so let's just make it, it's too small, so let's just make it a little bit bigger. That's good, I like that. And now let's draw another line. There we go. And that's my koala. Now if I saved this file, what it would do is overwrite the original file and have those glasses on. That's all very well, but then if I want to then ever remove those glasses, it's a very painstaking process, and often the picture doesn't look quite as good. So it is always a good idea, if you're improving another picture or adding to another picture, to save it as another name. If I clicked the save now, it would overwrite the existing file, and then the glasses would always be part of that koala. So I'm going to click down here, and I'm going to do save as. You're given a number of options here in the save: PNG, JPEG, BMP, GIF, and often you're not quite sure what format to save them as. Probably a good rule of thumb is to always stick with a JPEG. JPEG is a very, very common image format, good quality. It's often associated with your photos. So JPEG's probably a nice, safe format to do. As such, let's choose it JPEG. I'm going to keep it in the sample pictures, but I'm going to call it koala, and then I'm going to do koala with glasses, and then click save. Now what I can do is, now that I've done that, I can save this as my desktop. So I'm going to just come down here, and the great thing about Paint is there is an automatic button here, set it as my desktop background. What I can do is I can choose to perhaps fill up the entire screen with this picture. If it's a smaller picture, I could perhaps have it just repeated many, many times until the screen is filled up. Or I could just have it in the center, and then it will just put it nicely in the center. But I'm going to fill the entire screen. There we go. Now if I close this, there we go. You can see my desktop. I always have the koala looking at me. There we go. You may ask what happens if you want to actually bring your old desktop back. No problem at all. You always just right click on your desktop, and I've got the option of personalize down here. And what this will do is allow me to bring back to my original desktop background just down here. There we go. Okay. Up to you if you want to have a koala looking at you whenever you're using your desktop. That's it.